a professional psychiatrist originally from Pakistan working abroad for almost over 12 years is under public scrutiny after a TikToker alleges that he took advantage of her.
What started out as a viral oversharing 20-part series on TikTok about one woman's infatuation with her own psychiatrist has now spiraled into death threats, doxing, and looming lawsuits.
I fell in love with my psychiatrist and he knew that, and he kept me for years as a patient until I was brave enough to leave him. I want to talk about it.
Not only this, but his career is also at risk. He might have his license revoked or he might face other consequences just because a white woman decided that she is going to make a series on how her psychiatrist abused her, allegedly. The world is divided due to this case. There are many who, after listening to her all the series parts, have decided to side with the psychiatrist, but there are also a huge amount of people who part with her, say that the psychiatrist should face consequences. Let's look at it in a whole perspective. Being part of a mental health field comes with its own disadvantages, conflicts, and issues at hand. As a therapist, every one of us wants to get into the field and make a name for themselves. Not only that, but we also want to help others as much as we can. Every therapeutic alliance starts with the first step, and that first step is rapport building. Now, what is rapport building? At its very core, rapport building is forming a compliance and a therapeutic relationship with your client. It is very useful as the client feels safe and secure and heard due to this process, and once they feel this certain way, they open up and you can help them resolve their issues. Where it is very important, crucial and beneficial for the therapeutic relationship, it can also turn fatal, especially when it's done with half knowledge, inexperience and diving right into the field without first going through a supervised session program. Because in a supervised session program, you are taught to create a rapport while establishing and maintaining boundaries. As a therapist, we are already at a very crucial edge of the therapeutic relationship, because while we are listening to our clients and validating their feelings, emotions and trying to understand from where they are coming, a little bit as Kendra took it.
Yourself. You're giving me more ammunition to share my story.
As a therapist, we have to validate the emotions, feelings of our clients. We have to listen to them, to whatever they are saying to us, and not react to them. Especially in cases where the clients are very vulnerable and us neglecting their emotions or feelings, or not responding to the emotions or feelings, or responding in an inappropriate way can give off a lifelong trauma. It can also be fatal for the emotional health of the client, for which we are responsible at the end of the day. It is important for our client to be heard. It is important for our client to have that feeling that we understand them, and we still have to form our boundaries and remain in those boundaries, no matter how hard they might push to cross those boundaries.
I looked at the psychiatrist and I said, a couple weeks ago, on the full moon, when I was ovulating, I had a dream about you.
Apart from all the professional, ethical boundaries and ethical rights and obligations that we have, another factor comes from being a Pakistani. Yes, being a Pakistani, we come from collectivistic culture. In collectivistic culture, we from a very young age are taught to respect other feelings and others' needs more than ourselves. We are taught to, no matter how bad it feels, we always have to oblige to others, and we always have to please others in one way or the other. It is a form of a societal pressure that is put on us from a very young age, and establishing boundaries and maintaining boundaries are never taught. Hence, many of my students who go into therapeutic alliances at a very early stage are very confused about whether or how to form rapport while establishing and maintaining boundaries. And many a times they face questions like, shall I call you after the session? session? If I have a question, can I text you over the session, after the session? And many a times the young therapists who have not yet gained enough experience give the clients that leverage, which in long term fall into wrong category. You know, in the case of Kendra as well, there is this extended time period of 3 years where she is talking to her psychiatrist while her psychiatrist is supposed to give her the medicines only. She is telling him about her sexual relationships, her intimate relationships, her feelings about the psychiatrist. Now, at any point, the psychiatrist could have terminated the sessions and referred her to someone else, which would have ultimately solved the problem. But due to the continuation of the process, Kendra formed strong, self-made, alleged feelings that the psychiatrist was actually abusing her. And when you look at the series, it's hard to understand whether it's coming from a perpetrator or a victim. This is the case with many of our clients because our clients come from a very vulnerable position. And when they come to us, they want to feel liberated and lightened. And that's what we do. We liberate them with knowledge of self-awareness, self-knowledge, and along with that, how the boundaries work and how relationships can be manipulative, etc., etc. So we teach them a lot of stuff that they didn't already know. It's never a one session process. Almost every time 2 and above. So in all of these sessions, we are talking to our clients, validating their emotions, and when we are giving them that feeling of being heard, they might form feelings for us. These feelings, from contrary to popular belief, can be either positive or negative and non-romantic as well. For example, a child client looking at the therapist and creating a feelings or association of parental figure with them, or a female client with a female therapist allegedly thinking of them as their own friends, which can be very fatal for therapeutic alliance. The therapeutic relationship between the therapist and client should be exactly that, therapist and the client. No other relationship should be starting or maintained. So I digress. I apologize. We were talking about when the client forms feeling for the therapist. They can be either positive or negative. Negative feelings being, my therapist is trying to rob me of, my therapist is not looking at me the way he should or she should. And positive being, my therapist is in love with me, or I am in love with my therapist, or my therapist is my friend, or my therapist is like this parental figure or this auntie figure, etc., etc. So this is called transference, and vice versa. If a therapist creates feelings towards the client, that is known as countertransference. Now, don't take me wrong. As humans, it's completely normal to start having some feelings. But as a therapist, we are trained to be empathetic yet not have feeling towards the person sitting across that table. Many of my young therapists, my students, often ask me questions like, but ma'am, if I don't allow them to reach me out after the session, they won't be coming back for another session. But ma'am, if I create these boundaries and these many rules, they won't be coming again. This should not be your fear. If you act ethically and professionally, you will gain the audience and you will gain the clientele that is right for you. Ultimately, breaking those boundaries, ultimately being too open with your client can be hazardous for your own practice. Now the question arises that this psychiatrist who was having 12 years of experience, along with that, she alleges there is a clinical therapist as well who is a female, is a PhD, and she also is talking to her about the psychiatrist and the feelings of Kendra towards the psychiatrist and all of this mixture. So now you think that apart from all of this, when finally Kendra decides that she is going to terminate the sessions, the therapist writes her an email, which Kendra says, quote unquote, begs me to keep going. She uses the word begged. Can you imagine the intensity of this word and the way it is used in this present world, and how far it can take a person in their career in alleged lawsuits? Well, she shows us the email. Let's have a look at that.
Kendra decided to stop going to therapy. She claimed her therapist sent her an email begging her to come back. However, the screenshot of the message that suggested they have one last session for closure was hardly what Kendra described.
Take a moment, pause and read the email. And if you cannot read it from here, if the pixels are not good or something else, you can Google this case and you will find all the information. It's all out there. Even the psychiatrist's name is out there. You can Google him as well. So yeah, that's something, right?
Kendra was a white woman.
It's a white woman on this app right now, destroying the career of a brown man. And based on her words, he never reciprocated anything that she was feeling.
Yes, Kendra's story time had forever tainted the psychiatrist's reputation. And thanks to an upload where Kendra accidentally included his name, his identity was easily searchable.
Now the question is, how do we avoid it? What to do and what not to do as a therapist in the session to avoid transference or counter-transference? First and foremost rule is to establish and then maintain boundaries. Professional boundaries are very important. Remember, always in the first session, talk the boundaries out. Tell your clients what they're allowed and what they're not allowed to do. For example, in my case, I always tell my clients that approaching me outside of the session is not allowed, bringing gifts or food beverages or anything else inside the session is not allowed, offering me any kind of gifts or beverages is not allowed. Trust me, it has happened many times that the client want to say thank you in the form of either food or some gift, and I always decline that. And that is why I always initiate it in the first session to let them know that this is certainly never allowed. As a therapist, the second to do thing is have self-reflections. Recognize your own feelings and emotions during the session, after the session. This is a very crucial part. This will tell you what you didn't like in the session and what you can avoid in the next one. To my young psychologists out there, please, at first, take supervised sessions. At least 20 sessions in some seniors' supervision, so that they can guide you how to form rapport, how to establish boundaries, how to maintain boundaries, how to do assessments, and how to inculcate therapeutic modules and therapeutic interventions in your session. Another important point is to be aware of the client's dynamics. Yes, you heard me right. Notice the patterns of the client. Ask them if they have been to therapy before. Ask them what helped, what did not help. Ask them how they treat the relationships in their day-to-day life. Gently explore the dynamics with the client. Another important to do is that you do not negate or neglect your client's feelings. You neither approve them nor you negate them. You just have to acknowledge that yes, they are feeling a certain way, and any human in that particular situation might feel that certain way, and then tell them how to understand their own feelings and to work on them to have a better emotional response to different situations. Use emotional regulations techniques not only with your clients but with yourself as well. Now let's talk about some don'ts. What not to do in a therapy session as a therapist. Do not take it personally. Whether they are being too kind to you, whether they are being too nice to you, whether they are being too evil to you, whether they are praising you or they are criticizing you. In any of the cases, don't take anything personal. Do not disclose, and I repeat, under any condition. Now some additional tips. Stay grounded, you therapists out there. Approach should be evidence-based. Use only techniques that you've read about, that practiced before, that you are trained in, and please take as many trainings as you can. Educate yourself and prioritize yourself. If you're not feeling like taking the session that day, don't take the session that day. Inform your client, work out another date and time, and do the session that day. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling under the weather, you have the right to take a break. And that's the video, guys. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Very important for me. I personally am very grateful whenever I see a new subscribe and whenever I see a new like, any comment you can leave down there. I always look at the comments and I'll get back to you if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any experiences that you want to share, leave that in the comment box and I'll get back to you. I'm glad that you stayed. This is the special part where I'm going to talk in Urdu. So if you are an English speaker and you cannot understand Urdu, टेक केयर। तो मैंने अपने एक्सपीरियंस में 12 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में ये बहुत देखा है कि हमारे जो क्लाइंट्स होते हैं, स्पेशली जो ऑपोजिट जेंडर क्लाइंट्स होते हैं, जैसे मैं फीमेल हूँ तो एक मेल जेंडर के क्लाइंट आ जाते हैं, तो वो अक्सर ट्रांसफरेंस उनकी तरफ से शो होना शुरू हो जाती है। सो पहला जब आप रेड सिग्नल देखते हो ना कि यहाँ पे ट्रांसफरेंस वाला आ रहा होता है, तो यू हैव टू निप द इविल इन द बड, वहीं पे उनको रोको, उनसे क्लियर करो कि अगर आपको लग रहा है कि देयर माइट बी अ प्रॉब्लम तो उनको रेफर कर दो एंड टेल देम व्हाई यू रेफरिंग देम, राइट। नॉर्मली मेरे जो क्लाइंट्स होते हैं दे रिस्पेक्ट मी अ लॉट, बट वंस ऐसे हुआ कि मेरे पास एक क्लाइंट आए और वो किसी ऐसे थेरेपिस्ट के पास से होके आ रहे थे कि जिन थेरेपिस्ट ने उनको शायद स्टार्ट में मना नहीं किया या उनकी जो रेड सिग्नल्स थे उनको नहीं अंडरस्टैंड किया। जब वो मेरे पास आए तो मुझे कहने लगे कि मेरी वो जो थेरेपिस्ट थी वो मेरे लिए लिपस्टिक लगा के आती थी, वो मेरे लिए तैयार होती थी, मुझे इसलिए पता है कि उनके दिल में मेरे लिए फीलिंग्स थी। बिल्कुल कैंड्रा की तरह उनका भी यही था, स्टांस था कि जी मेरी तो फीलिंग्स नहीं थी या मेरी इतनी फीलिंग स्ट्रांग नहीं थी, मेरी थेरेपिस्ट की जो फीलिंग्स थी वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग थी। मैंने जब उनसे पूछा कि आपकी थेरेपिस्ट की एज क्या होगी, ये जो मौसूफ थे ये थे ऑलमोस्ट 40 ईयर्स ओल्ड, उनकी जो थेरेपिस्ट थी वो 23 या 24 ईयर्स ओल्ड थी। BS करके वो बच्ची जो है वो बैठी हुई थी फील्ड में, प्राइवेट क्लिनिक खोल के ऑनलाइन सेशंस ले रही थी। और ऑब्वियसली आपको इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होता है उस एज में, आपको इतनी चीज़ों का पता नहीं होता है उस एज में, और आपको बैठना भी नहीं चाहिए उस एज में थेरेपी करने के लिए। BS करके या MSc करके आप BS करो, ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद MS करो, उसके बाद आप अपना क्लिनिक स्टार्ट करो, क्योंकि तब तक आप अच्छे खासे ट्रेन हो चुके होते हो। बाद वो एक मेल के पास गए, फिर एक फीमेल के पास गए और फिर मेरे पास आए, और मीनवाइल वो सबको ये बताते हुए कभी कभी बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है कि आपका जो क्लाइंट है वो किसी और तरफ डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा होता है और आप उनको वापस लेकर आते हो, तो कभी कभी वो बुरा भी मान जाते हैं इस चीज़ से कि हम तो उस तरफ जा रहे थे तो आपने रोक दिया। तो यू हैव टू टेल देम कि देखिए हम इस टाइम पे इस सेशन में इन मसाइल पे बात करने के लिए बैठे हुए, हम इन पे बात करेंगे। अब देखो दो तरीके होते हैं। गेस्टॉल्ट में क्या होता है कि जहाँ आपका क्लाइंट है जिस एंगल पे बैठा है, जिस एंगल से बात कर रहा है, आप उसी एंगल पे बात करते हो, उसी एंगल से बात करते हो। आप इक्लेक्टिक अप्रोच में चल रहे हो तो इक्लेक्टिक अप्रोच में आपकी कोशिश होती है कि जो वन डाउन रिलेशनशिप है वही रहे। आपने एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अपने गोल्स को अचीव करना होता है थेरेप्यूटिक सेशन में, ठीक है। अगर आपके क्लाइंट आए थे रिलेशनशिप प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ, तो आपने उन प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करना है क्लाइंट के साथ मिलकर, क्लाइंट के उन प्रॉब्लम्स पे काम करना है। तो ऑब्वियसली अगर वो उस दौरान अपने वर्क प्लेस के मसले बताना शुरू कर देंगे और वो जो वर्क प्लेस के मसले हैं वो आपका बेसिक गोल नहीं है, वो उनके लिए इतना प्रॉब्लमेटिक भी नहीं है, लेकिन वो पूरा एक सेशन जस्ट बिकॉज आज ऑफिस में कोई बात हो गई थी तो वो पूरा एक सेशन उसमें अगर वो ज़ाया कर देते हैं तो यकीन करो कि 5 दिन बाद 6 दिन बाद वो आपको ही ब्लेम करेंगे कि मैं तो इस मसले के साथ गया था, मेरा वो मसला तो हल हुआ ही नहीं, थेरेपिस्ट ने तो मेरा वो मसला हल किया ही नहीं। हमारे यहाँ लोगों का जो माइंडसेट है वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट है। वो थेरेपी को नहीं समझते, वो थेरेपी के रिलेशनशिप को नहीं समझते, वो ये बात नहीं समझ पाते कि थेरेपी एक दिन में नहीं होती, थेरेपी के सेशंस होते हैं। ये सब चीजें क्लाइंट्स को समझाना, उनको उस पेज पे लाना हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। अगर मैं और आप और हम जैसे सारे थेरेपिस्ट मिलके प्रोफेशनली और एथिकली चलेंगे तो एक दिन ऐसा जरूर आएगा जब हमारे जो क्लाइंट्स हैं चीजों को समझने लगेंगे। तो प्लीज बी अवेयर, प्रोफेशनलिज्म है उसे हाथ से मत जाने दें, अपनी प्रैक्टिस करें, अपनी प्रैक्टिस सुपरविजन में करें। उसके बाद जब आपको लगे कि अब मैं जो सेशन है उसको लेके चल सकती हूँ अकेले, तो फिर आप अपनी प्रैक्टिस, प्राइवेट प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट करें और फिर आप उसको लेके चलें। तो बहुत शुक्रिया आपका आने के लिए। प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब करके जाइएगा, दूसरों को शेयर कीजिएगा ताकि लोग सीख सकें। अल्लाह हाफिज़।